meditation, but what I want to do now is hand over to some of my existing amazing sovereign leadership members. And I can't wait for you to hear their stories. So yeah, because I'm in fact, I'm not going to say any of their stories for them. I'm going to let them do it. Joy, I'm going to come to you first, darling.
Hello. So I am Joy Schultz. I am a rebirth mentor for women, which means that I get to guide them as they stop being who they think they should be and become who they're designed to be. So I use tools like human design, Reiki, shamanic drumming, and oracle cards to facilitate that transformation. I would not be here, sitting here with you today, though, saying all of that, if it had not been for the work that I've done with Jen and the group over the last 3.5 years. When I joined what was then Spiritual Club, um, I was just coming out of the cult and the lifetime of abuse that I had grown up in. So in that cult, if you've ever seen Shiny Happy People on Amazon or the Christian nationalism that is rampant in the US right now, that's an idea of how I grew up. And so I was not allowed to study other religions or mythology or spirituality, anything that did not come right in the lane of that fundamental Christianity. So fast forward to 3.5 years ago, I had set aside the cult. I'd gone completely like agnostic for a few years. And then I started to find my spirituality again. But I knew nothing. I had just started meditating for a few months before I met Jen, and that was having a massive impact. But it was just mindfulness meditation, which is great in and of itself. It's a beautiful tool. But I had never gone on the meditation journeys like what Jen facilitates in the membership. And through those journeys and through the conversations that we would have every week, I met all of my guides and angels and spirit animals. And I basically say that I went from kindergarten in my spirituality to now I'm in grad school.
Mhm.
Because during that time, I also did the priestess training with Jen as well, which has been phenomenal and a huge part of my journey. But without the consistent anchoring of being in the membership, I would not have had all of that growth. I would not have had the support in the community to walk through some of the massive things that I have gone through, the healing, the letting go, the complete direction shifts in life and business. And I'm going through one right now. But because of all of the work that I've done, I am handling it in that sovereign leader, soul hearted woman way, that priestess way. And I have to tell you, it's night and day difference. Absolute night and day. Now I have a place to come with my questions, with the things that I'm going through. When I'm in a wobble, I put things in the group or I hop on the next call and I'm like, hey guys, this is what I'm going through. I have had snot bubbly tears. I have had giggles of joy in the group and everything in between because this is a safe space. And Jen works really hard to keep it that way. She really takes ownership of who is in the group and making sure that we all gel, we're all on that spiritual path and that we're safe. But beyond that, it's the community, it's the meditations, it's the learning. And we all grow at different paces. There's never any behind or anything like that. We're just here to come together and learn and grow. And so now I am a completely different version of me than I was. I feel like I am more me than I have ever been. I am confident when I write down in my journal my I am statements. Like they just pop off the top of my head now because it's so grounded in me now. And that I actually found a page in my journal from a few years ago where it was the first time ever that I had been able to write down my I am statements. And I wrote down at the bottom how big of a deal that was for me because I had been torn down my entire life through all of the abuse, through the religion, through everything. So now for me, 3.5 years later, to say that I still attend 99% of every meeting, I am always there because that is a huge anchor point for me.
No. Oh, darling, thank you for your kind words, by the way. But yeah, my goodness, your journey has been one of my greatest pleasures and privileges to witness and be a part of. The woman you are today, whew, she is powerful, she is authoritative, she she's a leader, and the boundaries that you have now and the prices that you now charge are in line with that.
Yes.
Landing your first $6,000 client recently, I know was a big milestone for you. But the bigger milestone that I witnessed was how natural it felt to you.
It felt completely natural because of the work that I had done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that was enabled by the support that I've had over the last three and a
Oh,
half years.
well, yeah, because you do the work, darling. You do the work.
Yes.
And
But I
I'll put
couldn't have facilitated it without you in this group. So I just want to say
oh,
that.
yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Um, yeah, it means a lot received. And I will put a link in the comments, but Joy is also my co-host on the Sovereign Leader podcast. So if you haven't listened to it yet, you will go and find out loads more about Joy. Her story is fascinating. Her work and opinions are, yeah. And yeah, we chat off each other really well. Really, we go deep. We go deep. So I'll put a link to that and you can enjoy it later. Thank you. Thank you, darling. All right. Fabulous. Emma. Welcome, darling. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
This is what you get for doing it on phone rather than a laptop. um, but hey, hi, I'm Emma. I am in corporate, so I have a corporate job in a construction consultancy firm. I've been working with Jen and in the membership for at least 3 years now, I would say.
Yeah, just before you got married, I'd say. A few months before you got married.
No, it wasn't. It was at least a year before I got married.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been married 2 years now, so yeah, it's just yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, when I started with Jen, I too grew up in a Christian background, attending church. I was lucky in a way that I didn't have the abusive form of Christianity. It was very inclusive and supportive for me, and I was always allowed to have questions, but I didn't always voice all my questions because some of my questions had always been quite fundamental. Questions around the beliefs and stuff. But before joining Jen's world, I'd gone through candidating for ministry and been told no, and then not supported by the church in that decision, just basically forgotten about or felt abandonment was the feeling that I came out of that with. And so while I still attend my church because I like the people that's there, I don't necessarily hold all the beliefs that they do, but I can still be with them and worship with them. But I'm done with the church as an organisation. But so in that time that I've been working with Jen and being part of, again, it was Spiritual Club when I first joined it, then Soul Sanctuary, and now the Sovereign Leadership. I have it's just been huge, the changes that I've had. Just being able to better understand myself in ways that I've never been able to do before. I've gone through so many questions of my about spirituality and how I understand the world. I've gone through diagnosis and been diagnosed for ADHD after feeling like there was something wrong with me for years because I was struggling so much with just day-to-day life. And then I also went through the priestess training, and even since then, through my ADHD, this last 18 months has just been huge shifts for me in all sorts of things, to be able to just talk about things and understand things for myself. And the group has been such a huge part of that, and the people in the group has been such a huge part of that. And yeah, I wouldn't. That's my best parts of the week are the 2 membership groups that I attend Mondays, and then whenever priestess group lands. And yeah, it's just wonderful to have that safe space to be held and to be allowed to be seen and heard. And I actually, on some levels, feel more comfortable to be vulnerable in that space than I do being vulnerable with my own husband. Which I think says a lot. And just to be able to be seen and heard and without judgment, and just be acknowledged of this is where I am, this is how I am at the moment, and then being able to be guided to then do the work to move through stuff and come to the realizations, and the work that I've been able to do is yeah, it's such a huge anchor, and just would not be without it.
Oh, Emma, what a journey. What a journey. I was just thinking, actually, just as you were closing up there, I was just thinking, like 3 years ago, if I'd have asked you to come in and do this, there's no way for you to come.
No way whatsoever. No, I'd have been sort of like rabbit in headlights.
Yeah. And I think this journey of radical self-acceptance that you've been on, the way that your spiritual connection and your connection with, yes, yourself, of course, the most important relationship, but your connection with your relationship with, your guides, your angels, God, Goddess, is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And the confidence now as well that you have when, after one of the guided journeys, you're easily coming in with, I experienced this, I've received this message, I know I've got to work on this now, and it's it's just beautiful, magical. I love it.
And it is the help through the wobbles. I mean, I'm kind of going through a bit of a wobble now in certain aspects that me and you, Jen, will talk more about next week when we've got my first one-to-one session with you in stuff. But yeah, just be having these spaces held and open for us to come and sharing the support, not just from yourself, Jen, but from all the lovely ladies in that space. Yeah, it's huge. I love every single one of them.
Oh, yeah. And thank you for saying that, because I think, you know, it is, yes, of course, I hold space and I hold strong and absolutely non-judgmental space, but it is those within it that help make the space what it is.
Yeah.
And you're amazing, all of you, and your connection is wonderful. And I think one of the things that I really love is how welcoming you all are to new people. There's none of this, like I've been in memberships before where it's felt a bit clicky and I
No,
really
no.
struggled to kind of fit in. And you guys are like, "Ooh, who are you? Come in, welcome to the family." You know, yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
is that family dynamic, and it is the support and the energy. And you've said before in many session that the collective energy is so powerful in these groups,
yeah,
of
especially in
holding
that
one
priestess
another.
room.
Yeah,
That priestess room is
just
phenomenal.
holding and supporting one another.
Mm. Oh, beautiful. And you released your own Substack last
Yes,
year, didn't you?
released my own Substack. I've been, well, haven't done anything on it for a while, but started writing bits of a book. I put myself forward and helped write my own promotion
It's
gist when I
amazing
got
that.
my promotion the other year. And I'm pushing myself forward to do more public speaking and stuff. I've got a meeting about that actually Tuesday in the
Oh,
morning, as well.
amazing.
We have our meeting in the afternoon. So yeah, none of that. I wouldn't have been pushing myself forward for any of that before
Mm, yeah.
this group.
I'll never forget when you came in and said like, so my manager has like asked me to write my own
And I
my
did
own
it
job.
without cringing and for
Yeah.
like, how do I do this? What do I put? And I was like, no, I can do this and I can do
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
this is why I need it.
Yes. Authority right there. Oh, it was just awesome. It was brilliant. Yeah. Oh, thank you, darling. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you in this space. And I love, well, how many times have I said I love working with you to each and every one of you, but I love working with you. And yeah, looking forward to our one-to-one work starting next week. Amazing.
Mhm.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, darling. And yes, CEO of your own life, as Joy says in the chat. Wonderful. Sarah, darling. Woohoo, welcome.
Hello, thank you, Jen, and hi to everybody who's watching us and who will be maybe catching up on replay. So I'm bilingual. I wanted to point that out because for me it's really important. So I was born in England and I decided to move over to France when I was in my early 20s. So I've been here ever since. And sometimes it's great to be bilingual, and sometimes it's a bit strange, to be perfectly honest, because there are things that just don't compute or translate. But anyway, I've sort of muddled my way through so far. And my business has been going for a very long time, had very many iterations. And the current one is that I am an emotional guide, teacher, and mentor, facilitating soul-led acceptance and transformation for women, mainly women, but I do insist as well on the feminine energy. I have had some beautiful men work with me because for me, it's more about energy. Everything is about energy. And just for a little sort of anecdote, when I was in high school, I really, really, really wanted to study physics. And I tried my hardest and I just never made the grades. And I was insistent, so insistent on this. And in the end, my careers advisor said, look, you're doing French as well. It seems to be really easy for you. So why don't you just toddle off to university and study French? And I was like, what am I going to do with that? And I really was upset at the time because I couldn't get into university with the grades for physics. And looking back, what I really loved in physics was all of the energetic work. So that has been like a common thread. And I only really realized that maybe 5 years ago. So, anyway, that's just a side note. But I feel for me, it's really important to actually voice it now as well, because all of us here have had some weird and wonderful journeys, and mine is no exception. And talking more deeply about my connection with Jen. I think it's coming up 5 years already that we were in the same networking group.
Yeah.
And I really reconnected to Jen last year when my whole life was a big wobble in capital letters. Basically, within the space of a few weeks, my husband and I became homeless and he became jobless, and my business started to go down the. So I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And I'd been toying with the idea of training to do the Goddess Isis priestess training. And it just came up as the opportunity. And I was like, right, I'm in. So Jen and I had a fantastic talk before about everything that was going on in my life and how this training could help me. And that has now led to me joining the Sovereign Leader membership as well. And one of the things that has really, really helped me, the wobbles are still there because we are still technically homeless. We are actually living somewhere, but it's not our home at all. And it's just a transition period. And my husband is still out of work. But just knowing who I am, what I'm capable of, despite all of it, has really kept me going. There have been times over the past year where I've just messaged Jen going, help, and there's always been what I love. There's many things I love, but what I really love about the way you work, and probably because I'm a coach too, is you really reflect back to me what you think is going on, what you feel is going on. And you always give me great journaling prompts. I love journaling. It always helps me to come up with new ideas and just, work through things. And sometimes you also call me out on the, what is actually going on. I'm sort of like, not pussyfooting around what's going on, but yeah, it's really,
it this
really
face, Sarah?
important. Sorry?
Is it this face I give you?
Yes. Yes. Even if we're not face to face, that's what I can sense in the messages. Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's like, come on, lovely. Okay, what's really going on, sort of thing. But so I can't really say too much for now about being part of the membership because I literally joined just over a month ago, but I've been to a couple of the sessions already, and it really is what Joy and Emma have said. It's just a space where I don't have to explain anything. I can just talk about connecting to Melchizedek, to having these visions of being part of the Galactic Council, and no pretension. It literally is, some of the work Jen and I have done together. It's just like blown my mind. Really deepen my connection to Mary Magdalene as well. But just being able to talk about all of the stuff and nobody's just pulling a weird face or going, what the hell's she on about? It's really, I was going to say, no, okay, the word assertive has come. That's not necessarily the word I would use, but it's just like being in that space with these women who have gone through so much as well, but who just get it. And there's no need, as I've just said, to explain anything. And that for me is really, really precious as well.
I think as women, we have spent centuries, fucking centuries, not feeling safe to speak our truth. And in our current lifetimes, what I see particularly in women, but also marginalized communities, is that you're so used to feeling not seen and not heard that it's become second nature just not to speak and not to share. And one of the things, I call people out on their shit, and if I think they're hiding, but I'm also deeply compassionate to teasing somebody's voice out. That clearly I do not find it difficult to speak. But there are times that I find it more challenging. But for me, after all the trauma I'd journeyed through in my life, coming out of my spiritual closet on Facebook was just the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, when was that? 7, 8 years ago now. And so having in all of my communities a space where people get to say whatever they're thinking, whatever they're feeling, whatever their opinions are, whatever amazing experiences they're having, is crucial to me, absolutely crucial. If anybody ever arrives in my space not feeling like they can speak their truth, I genuinely feel I've got a problem. And yeah, it's important. It is so important. And I love how you show up for yourself. I love how you show up for yourself, and your curiosity in the, what are you seeing there, Jen?
Yeah.
Well, you know, because there's no defensiveness there at all. It is just what are you seeing there? Because you're like, because then I can grow, then it can stretch me, then I can move, then I can expand, and I love it. And then you do. Fuck me, do you? It's amazing in a relatively short time.
I just want to say that I'm able to do this because I've seen you do it, not necessarily in the same way as me and for the same reasons, but this is also why I really felt last year when my life was literally just like, this wasn't planned, it was not on the cards, what is going on, right? It was just like, who can I actually really trust? And a couple of you have said that as well already, okay? And the trust is so important for me, self-trust as well, but definitely trusting who you choose to accompany you on this journey.
Yeah.
But who will also get it without me having to go into too much detail. Not that I don't want to, because I could speak forever, but it was just like really, really important. And as I said, I've witnessed you, that the change in the 5 years we've known each other. I've really witnessed what you've been through and how you are growing and expanding too. And that for me is really important. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I should play that to my mentor.
Yes.
After I repeatedly said to her, people don't want to know my story. I'm like, really? Well, it's just not that big a deal.
It is.
I know. And I'm saying that because I know every single one of us thinks exactly the same bloody thing. It's not true. So yeah, amazing. I have loved witnessing your growth over these years too.
Thank you.
And I see great, great things unfolding before you. Just get my hands on that business of yours, darling, and Mary Magdalene personified. Yes. Okay. Thank you, my darlings. Thank you for your time and your slightly, I have to say, slightly unexpected